Hello everyone, welcome back to Scrape Metal and Roll. This is episode 4, all the action from TCR at Knockhill and USF2000 at USA International. My name's Gareth, and joining me are 3 of the drivers who were in action across those rounds. My first guest is a seasoned LOA campaigner and founder of the old CC Racing team and the current McLaret team. He's a dab hand at liveries, as has been seen with the gorgeous red and black McLaret cars this season, and of course the legendary Lynx Africa F3 car. Say hello, Chris Forrester.
Good evening, Gareth. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for inviting us.
You're very welcome to be here, Chris. And my next guest is the creator and star of the eXtric Racing YouTube channel. He's my teammate in the No Slots No Glory team and the eXtric Racing USF team. How are you, Russell?
I'm okay, Gareth. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here and with Chris as well. Thank you.
Good, thanks for coming. And finally, he's brand new to the league this season, but he's already one of the leading Hyundai Elantra drivers. Is he a little too into Kirby? We'll find out as we say hello to Jon Cook.
Hello everyone. Good to be
here. Nice to be. Well, thank you so much for all of you for joining me. So, Chris, I want to start with you because you're the LOA veteran out of the three guests.
Hard to believe as well. Doesn't feel that long.
So, tell us a bit about your sim racing journey, how you came to join the league. Can you remember what your first race was?
Yeah, I joined. Well, I first found out about LLOA when I was looking for a Formula Renault league, and you literally just finished your last season of FR 2.0, and we were just starting the first F3 league. So I joined for that first F3 race, which I think was Prime Season 4.
Yes, Interlagos. That was an amazing round, actually. Yeah, well worth checking out on the YouTube channel. Oh, what a shame you missed out on the Formula Renault. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, it's a sweet little car, that.
Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, sadly missed. Yeah. How did you and Chris begin teaming up?
I can't recall, actually. I think it was either you or Jules suggested we might make a good pairing, and you certainly had a good eye because we seem to be well matched, and our paces have grown steadily together over the last couple of years. So yeah, it's worked well. We're kind of similar ethos and similar amount of time able to commit to it. So it's worked well.
Fantastic, yeah, and I mentioned the Lynx Africa F3 car.
Yeah, I can't claim that one because that was a Chris White
was it Chris
creation.
Did that one?
Yeah.
Oh, that was an amazing one. Yeah, but you did the current cars, and I think they're your finest work yet, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of that. This season's one. Yeah, it's I got the inspiration and managed to get it to work. But, yeah.
Oh, brilliant stuff. And Gear Nerds, we do have them in the Discord. It seems to be a thing about sim racing, doesn't it? What do you run? What's your setup?
So I've just upgraded this year actually. So I'm on the CSL DD 8 Nm rig with some load cell pedals, and that's been transformative. It's been great. A lot more consistency, and as I say, can get closer to the edge, but that also has its downsides as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You were really rapid in the Lotus 79 a couple of seasons ago, and very rapid in the F4 at Spa in Prime, just gone. Is open wheel your favourite sort of car?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, I enjoy the tin tops, but yeah, open wheel is definitely where my heart is.
Man after my own heart, definitely. Yeah. So moving on to yourself, Russell, then we chat a lot on Discord. We listen to each other speaking in videos, and we've been teammates for over a season now. But weirdly, this is the first time we've ever had a conversation. How are you doing?
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? I'm okay. Yeah, it's good.
Cool. Well, tell us about your sim racing history, and what made you set up the eXtric channel. How did you become a YouTuber?
Yeah, I don't know what really made me do it. I think I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I wanted to start keeping some races as memories, and it's sort of also seeing other YouTubers. I was quite intrigued. How does it all work? So I got into sort of trying to look into doing that, and one thing's led to another, and now I've posted over 500 videos, which seems a bit crazy, really.
Well, you do an enormous variety across the week, don't you? How many championships are you competing in per week?
I think that last season it ended up being 4, although I only wanted to be 3. It just seems that the more I do, the more I want to do, which is probably some form of addiction there, really. But yeah, and I want to get more into just running the things that I enjoy rather than sticking to set things. But I really love like the statistics and the things like that. So it always feels good to knock off a season.
Yeah, I've noticed from watching that you like to sort of, obviously see how far up the championship you can get, which is obviously the name of the game, really, isn't it? So, I mean, as we alluded to, you race a massive variety of cars on the channel. What are your sort of favourites?
Oh, you had to ask me that
I
one,
did,
didn't you?
sorry.
I like Chris. I think open wheel is where my heart really lies. But I love to run anything, to be honest. And I enjoyed that. I mean, for many years I stuck to the MX-5 and the Spec Racer Ford, and then after a while progressed into trying other things and found out actually I do enjoy running different cars. But the MX-5 and Spec Racer, although not open wheel, do have
I got no roof.
a real place. Yeah. And back when I joined, there was 2 MX-5s, so that was quite good.
Yeah. And you got 680 subscribers to date. The channel's going great guns. I think you only had about 200 or 300 when I first came across you. So your growth has just been really rapid. You said in the past you've got a very basic setup, and there have been times when I've been listening to the video and your wheels come off the desk and things. So, assuming you're able to monetize, would that go into funding an upgrade, perhaps?
Yeah, I think in the back of my mind, I thought, I'm doing so much racing, could I make a little bit of income from it? But I know in reality, it's not going to be much money, if anything. So anything that I would make would go back into a setup. Yeah.
Nice. So cool. Well, moving along then, Jon, welcome aboard to the LOA.
Thank you.
I believe you found us from Russell's channel, didn't you? So,
I did indeed, yes.
well, tell us about yourself and your racing.
Well, I consider myself quite new to our racing. I've only been on the service for about a year, and I don't think I consistently started racing until March of this year, and then it's become a bit of an obsession since then. Always practicing looking for track guides, which is how I found Russell's channel. Not specifically track guides, but just watching how he was taking corners, braking, etc. And it's just gone from there. And then for his videos, I saw a couple of the LOA ones. I think it was the Donington one. Who was it? James Pepper won.
Oh yeah,
the USF, and Russell won the second one. That was one of the best adverts for this league, I think.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, and yet you're not joining us in USF at the moment.
Again, because I'm quite new, I don't really own many cars, and I haven't even touched open wheel. I own the Super Formula, but I can't keep it facing the right way, so I haven't raced it yet.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I think you'll enjoy the USF and the F4 a lot more because they're beginner open wheel cars. I mean, Chris and Russell, you can. Which would you say would be the easier one to pick up of the two?
Oh, well, given Jon, you're doing all right in the touring cars, I think the USF would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the F4's feels easier to drive, but I certainly found it was easier to get quicker results in USF, so I get results quicker in the USF.
Well, there you go. If you're gonna splash, then Jon, that's the one to go for. So you say, well, that kind of answered my next question I have for you then, because you as I say, you're only doing the TCR with us at the moment, but are there any other cars you do race on the sim?
I love the Clio at the moment. That and obviously the Elantra, but yeah, if I'm racing official, it's the Clio at the moment.
Okay, so from a front-wheel drive theme sort of coming through?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And what is Kirby then, referring to your former team name of Kirby's Dream? Tell us about that.
I didn't name it.
You didn't?
Alex did.
Right. Well, you are teaming now with Alex Murphy, now in the Murphy squad.
Yeah, honorary Murphy.
Team pairing. Yep. How much team chatter and tip sharing is going on between you guys?
Well, he's quicker than me, so he's put in some lap times, and I've had a look at that. But we are racing different cars, so how much into the telemetry I can read, I don't know. But yeah, I'll just see how he does in races and copy his lines where I can.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you're only like a year in, you're astonishingly quick. I mean, I noticed in your Discord pic there's an open wheeler there. So is that from IRL racing experience or just other sims and stuff?
I used to do quite a bit of karting. That's an F4 at Brands Hatch. That was just a race day. But yeah, I used to do quite a bit of karting.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there is some natural inherent speed coming through, and we're just sort of seeing it in the sim now. So what's your setup like?
That's changed a lot in the last year as well. A couple of years ago, I bought a Thrustmaster T300, and I went through the usual process I think people do with that of upgrading the pedals to the load cells, and then chucking on the 3D the printed brake mod for that. I added the new wheel to it, a modded wheel, and then I sold all of that about 3 months ago, and now I've got a triple monitor set up. And it's all Sim Magic.
Oh, lovely! Yeah, that's the kind of thing I want to save up for one day.
It's very nice.
My problem is, I've got too many hobbies, so it's just sort of like slot racing, trains, sim racing, RC cars, and it's just like, oh god, if I'm, I've got to plan ahead a dozen months in advance to think of what I can save up for. So, Chris, I wanted to ask you, you're a dad like me. Have your kids shown any interest in racing yet?
No, they're a bit young yet. They're 6 and 4. So
still way too young. Yeah.
I've still got the G29 boxed up ready for when they do get a bit older. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've actually got I've got a small rig sitting under my table in my other shed ready to for my son. But it did have a Logitech driving force on it, but I think that finally died. So when I finally upgrade, he'll get my old CS Elite. So yeah, obviously Steve Pepper beat everyone to being the first father-son combo with James. So yeah, but can't be that far off getting more parent-child combos coming into the league, which would be quite interesting.
It's really great to see those two racing together.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let's then talk about the racing action from TCR at Knock Hill. It was good racing at times, wasn't it? But a bit bangy, I think it's fair to say. Russell, you were just looking. I was just looking at the championship standings, and you lost 42 points from the infamous jump at Alton Park. You'd actually be tying with Damon on 130 points and 4th place in the championship at the moment. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, a little gutted, but stupid things result in stupid consequences. Yeah, I will try not to think about it the rest of the season now.
I don't think you've got a choice. I think you're always going to get reminded at some point. But yeah.
Well, yeah, of the stupid moment, but I will try and not think about the 42 points.
Yeah. So, John, your season has gone pretty well, actually, it has to be said. You had the 10th and then a 19th at Alton Park. Snetterton 10th and a first podium, so congratulations on that. And then 6th and 8th at Knock Hill. What was your racing like at Knock Hill?
Yeah, it's all good. No complaints, really. I could have done better. I could have got a better launch in the first race. Russell beat me off the line, and then I think by T3, Damon got past me. But then it was just, just trying to keep up with the pack and make up a couple of positions there. And then the second race, there was the second lap. Dom did a little bit of a send on me, but the space was there, I guess. But the netcode did me in, and then I was off track. And then it's just trying to get back on and make up a couple of positions. I think I could have done a bit better in that race if I'd have not had that incident. But it is what it is. Yeah.
And because obviously I mentioned before, you're in the Elantra, one of the leading drivers in the Elantra at the moment. It has to be said. What's your launches like? You're using a clutch pedal or something?
No, I use the paddles on the. I've got the FX Pro, so yeah, I've got it set up to 15% on the left, and I think looking back at the replay, I think I just let it out too quickly.
Right, yeah, because that's my big issue as well, as Russell saw in race 2 when he just went flying past me, because I've only got I've got a clutch pedal. I just don't like having my feet squished together, so I tend not to bother with it. But I desperately need to get a clutch on my rig if I'm going to race TCR.
So you're really after tips there. With
I was a little bit, yeah. The clutch setting.
Yeah, I think it's just 15% with the Elantra. But I've got a clutch pedal, but I've actually got my pedals set as an offset, so they're just as far over to the left as I can get, just so I've got the brake and the accelerator in front of me, and I just ignore the clutch pedal.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I did experiment with putting the clutch pedal in the middle, which was a bit, but because realistically I only need it for launch. But I just took it off in the end. So, but as I say, if we're doing this much TCR, then maybe I should get it back on at some point. And Russell, a bit of an unfortunate pair of races, as people will have seen from your video. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I think I decided to try and see what it looked like, the whole grid. You know, I started nearer the front. I got good starts, that felt good, and then lap 3 I decided to, well, as Jon said afterwards, to go flying again, and it flew into the wall, which then brought back memories of the F4 race, because I think I did exactly the same thing. At turn 1.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Wasn't that from pole as well?
And I tend to. Oh, don't remind me. Yeah, probably was actually. So I've decided that Knockhill is a track that I like to drive, but I'm terrible at. But I had great fun in the second race, coming. I think I started 21st and made up a few positions and had a few battles with the guys back there. So I enjoyed the second race a lot more.
Yeah. I think like you, it's a great fun track, but just the risk of something going wrong is so high around there. It's crazy. And Chris, obviously we had a bit of a snooker moment, really, I guess, with James and yourself in T2, T3. Yeah. How was your event racing?
Yeah, I was similar to Russell. I enjoy Knockhill, but I just didn't seem to be anywhere near the pace on this one. But enjoyed chucking it around. I'll let you have that. I was a bit opportunistic with that move, but it felt like the seas parted. Yeah, there was a way through, but it didn't quite turn out like that.
I think just because James had to sort of swing across, didn't he, to avoid Rich, his teammate, and then maybe if you'd gone left a bit more, it would have worked. But I don't know. I mean, you can't blame you for trying, for sure. But so go on.
It's one of those corners, isn't it? The apex is really late, that last corner. It just invites people to just put the nose up the inside.
Oh, this was the so that was Chris White who got me in race 2.
Oh, okay. That was the other Chris. I got double McLaret. Sorry, Chris.
This was Rich and Steve Maxwell were Stephen was putting the move on into T1, and they made a bit of contact, and Stephen went off to the inside, I think, and then Rich sort of regained his car. He went like full 90 degrees, and then I went off to the inside of the apex of T2 and came back on, and then James was sort of steaming in there as well, and James was sort of avoiding Rich as he came up to the right-hander, at which point Chris arrived on the scene as well and got James, and then that got me. So just one of those things, really, unfortunate, but never mind. So we're looking at the final race results for it, and it was Oliver Ettridge who picked up the win ahead of Tor Malarin and Don Parker. He got pole, actually, so it does show that the Elantra can be quick. But a lot of Audis in the top positions as per usual, and Jon, you're in 6th place, and then David Ward, new to the league and driving the Veloster, and he came 7th place. So
he is quick. He was very quick. Yeah, and he had a coming together with Damon. I can't remember what lap it was on now, but I managed to get past him, and then I was just trying to hold him off for the rest of the race, just planting my car in the middle of the track. But if he got alongside me, he would have been past me and gone.
Wow. Yeah, he did. He certainly did look rapid. And then moving on to race 2, it was that man David Ward who picked up the win. So his first LOA victory coming from 3rd on the grid. And Don Parker, wow, what a fighting drive he had, up from 7th place to 2nd, and Tor going up from 8th to 3rd. So Jon, we mentioned that you'd come home 8th. So There were good showing for the Elantras really, and not so much for the Civics this time. It looks like Ben Chowcroft with the top Civic, I think. Yeah, in 11th. So interesting stuff. So a lot of people talking about the BOP at the moment. Just wanted to get you guys, what's your thoughts on the balance of power between the four cars? Start with you, Chris, if you like.
Yeah, I don't know. From my point of view, it feels too fine a difference. I think there's a lot more about driver talent than the cars at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of something I've been thinking about. Is like, yeah, maybe it's just a coincidence that some of the fastest cars are the Audi's the fastest car, but that's because it's got the fastest drivers in it. But yeah, what about you, John and Russell? What are your views on the BOP?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's I think if you go on official, most of the fast guys are in the Audi now.
So do you think it's because it is the quicker car, or just that's just the car that gravitated?
I think it's just the preferred car at the moment. I think there was on the iRacing stats today it came out, and it was the most used car last season.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Russell, what are your thoughts? You raced the Civic, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much in it. If there is something there, I did notice that Snetterton, the Audi, did seem to pull off the corner a lot better than my car. But then I think some other corners I was a lot quicker through. So it will even itself out over a season, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I used to drive the Civic, but I just found it was a bit muddy back in the day. So it feels, I mean, maybe it's cleaned up a bit, but certainly from my side, I've preferred the Elantra. It felt a bit easier for me to get on top of, but yeah, we'll see. So I just wanted to have a quick whip round of what you guys, your feedback on the championship so far, anything you'd like to see changed, anything you'd like to see improving from the drivers.
Could slow down a little bit.
Yeah, that would help me.
Share out the podiums, yeah, that would work.
Yeah. Obviously, go on, Russell.
No, the only thing I thought of changing, but there's a new season coming where you're making changes, but maybe just have a bit more points go down the order a bit more, maybe.
Yes,
as we're getting well over 20 each round. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously that, yeah, like you say, that that is going to come in the next season when we go for LOA Prime, LOA Sprint, and LOA Endurance, and there should be gold, silver, and bronze splits. So there will be more opportunities for people to score, and yeah, hopefully people will have an opportunity to fight championships as well. So it's exciting stuff. So next round for the USF, then we'll be going to Donington Park, which should be really exciting. We had a great race there in the first TCR round when we were on the national layout, but we're going to the full layout this time, so that'll be exciting. And then the Red Bull Ring. So yeah, two good tracks coming up. Should be a lot of fun slipstreaming around the Red Bull Ring with these cars. So yeah, let's talk about the USF2000 Championship, and it's Ben Chowcroft who's leading the championship at the moment, ahead of Oliver Ektridge and Alex Murphy. But this was obviously our first foray onto an oval this season. So, Chris, you were in the race. How was it?
Yeah, so it wasn't a great round for me. I ended up a lap down on the first race and was sat there patiently waiting for my turn at Lucky Dog, which never came. So actually, I think it did at the very end of the race, but yeah, it's a bit of a non-race for me, that one.
Oh, that's a massive shame. Yeah. So, Russell, how about yourself?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the two races. It was good, close battling. I think the first race I made up from 7th to 4th. Thankfully for a 3-car accident that happened right in front of me, I managed to miss that. And then second race, we had a nice battle, didn't we, Gareth? And
yes,
I got 4th in the end. But I thought overall it was a lot cleaner than the first time we raced USA.
It certainly was. Yeah, the first one was rather alarming, wasn't it?
Yeah. Looking back at the incidents, there seemed to be a lot more just racing incidents rather than multiple car pile-ups, which happened the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it was, apart from that, the one you mentioned there, where I think it was Tor, Stephen Maxwell, and Tom Minot who came together, didn't they? But apart from that, it seemed to be very clean at the front. So yeah, I was quite interested actually, because obviously I think Dom is the one who's put a protest in against me for saying that I held up the pack a little bit on the couple of restarts. But yeah, I was wondering what your view was, having seen the video.
Well, as team,
Yeah, a little ask Chris for an unbiased view.
no, I don't think you were holding up the pack. The gap was a little larger than it probably should be, and maybe your reaction was a little slower.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, but yeah, it didn't look like you were stacking people back, and you went pretty much when everyone else did.
Yeah.
So,
there was one where I was on the inside and I had to sort of lift slightly to make sure I didn't undertake over the line. I think it was against Tom. And
yeah.
That's sort of the other thing you have to be aware of. But I think the other thing that I've noticed with sometimes when the rolling starts, if your rev range is slightly wrong, then it bogs down on you. So even when you're pressing the loud pedal, it takes a little second or so to pick up the pace. So I don't think that's probably partly that, partly slow reaction time. Yeah, hey ho, these things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll have a look at that. I think that the bigger issue would be if someone's backing off to get a run up and to time the start.
Yes.
That's definitely a no.
Yeah, I was a little wary of trying not to do that, because it's like, like you can follow the leader, and the moment you notice the leader's gone, you go. But yeah, that kind of predicting the start thing. But interesting. Yeah. So Ryan Tazewski getting his maiden win. So congratulations to Ryan winning Heat 1, and your teammate Chris White picking up an excellent second place. So
yeah, he had a lot of pace, didn't he?
He was so quick. Yeah, it was fantastic to see him on the podium. And Chase Small, who is a newcomer to the league, with his teammate Tom Minot down in 5th. Sandwiching yourself, Russell. So yeah, it was a good, exciting pair of races, I thought. And second race, it was Ollie Ettridge who picked up the victory, Chase Small in second, Ben Chalcraft in third, and then Tom and yourself, Russell. So yeah, and a huge accident at the end of race 2, I beg your pardon. So that was quite fun.
Yeah,
funny.
I think there were a couple actually. I definitely benefited from those two at the end.
Yeah, I stole 2 places crabbing over the line of a broken car, but yeah, it was quite funny. So, but yeah, also just thoughts on Ben Chalcraft. He's currently top of the USF2000 Championship. He's had an amazing set of races in round 1. Seems to have done quite well in rounds 2 as well, and now topping the championship. So he's looking good, isn't he?
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, had interesting races with him in was it Watkins Glen? Some good battles there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely rapid.
It's good to see him. It's good to see him at the top. He's very consistent. You probably won't agree with me for saying that, but he's very consistent. So I think that's what's got him there.
Yeah. And being hounded by Oliver Ettridge and Alex Murphy, so he's got stiff competition if he wants to stay up there. But he's got a great opportunity to either get that first championship or a top 3. So so the USF next time out is going to Road America, and then Red Bull Ring. So what are your thoughts on the next tracks coming up? Looking forward to Road America?
Yeah, both tracks, but like both of those, Red Bull Ring, Road America. Yeah,
Road America is always good for a lot of drag racing, and then a pile up in Canada Corner.
It's almost going to 2 more ovals with just a few more corners, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, hopefully, John, you'll come and join us on one of those soon.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, next season I'm not quite sure how you guys run it, to be honest. Once the season ends, if you start a new one straight away, But yeah, I'll certainly be looking at what else is going on after we finish with the TCR.
Well, that's a good point actually, because obviously because we're moving to this new sort of 3 championship calendar. The USF will actually be putting on. It'll go on hiatus for a season. So in 2024, it will be prototypes, whatever the open wheel car is in prime, and the TCR. So yeah, just the 3 to race. But I mean, you might
not
enjoy
revealing any secrets there for prime next year then.
It might involve tyre changing. I thought we were going to stick with the F4 for another season, but I got a sneaky suspicion that we're going for something a bit more powerful and with tyre changing and fuel, and it's something that Russell has run on his channel before.
Well, that doesn't.
No, it doesn't. There's so many cars.
Although there is a lot I haven't done, so
Well, that's true.
maybe it does help a little bit.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Well, thank you so much to all 3 of you, to Chris Forrester, to Jon Cook, and to Russell Bright, for joining me on this episode of Scrape Metal and Roll. We'll be, obviously, as I say, we'll be going to Donington Park and Road America for the USF, and before that, Prime is going to Magny-Cours, as is the Prototypes Challenge, so very much looking forward to racing there for the first time in the league. Hope we'll see you there. So for now, though, please say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Cheers. Thanks for the input.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you. Goodbye.
Cheers all. Bye-bye.